but this is part 2 and it's fantastic. Brian Cooper has joined us. Thank you so much. I hope you will click share. Rhonda's laughing. I know. I'm just, pray for me. I'm hilarious. Only
Marcus, I'm gonna go first because you said 9:38 and I'm supposed to be going to another audition, so I gotta hurry up.
And I'm cooking.
Okay. Well, okay.
But thank you.
Let me share.
I'm hanging in there.
Let me share with you what I'd like to do. Because each of you talk with each other, I wanted to give each of you a chance to talk about your pairings. Just a second, okay? So, Aria, since you are otherwise engaged, and I appreciate your time. Aria and Darren, how was that meeting? Because you all have not met outside of Love and Stuff, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so are there questions or moments that really resonated with the two of you where you're like, not a connection or connection? I'd like to find out more about Aria. It was a pleasant time, vice versa. What were those moments like?
Can we first laugh at Aria? Because even though I read the title, 36 Questions That Lead to Love, my brain was nowhere near that. I was just thinking we were talking just to see what the questions were like. just to get an idea. It didn't even dawn on me to think about romance at all.
So, I love you, but I can't laugh at you at this point. Because there were too many directions and guides about what to do with the information, but I hear you.
But remember now,
you went in there just being Aria talking and just talking to get to know Darren.
It was. And we had a good time. That was the thing. And I think
so you didn't answer the questions, you did or didn't?
Oh, we answered every single question.
Okay. All right. So which
I think that's what made it easier for me is the fact that I wasn't thinking about romance. I was just thinking about, okay, I'm gonna meet 3 new people.
Okay. All right. Pretty much like you might a stranger or might not, depending.
Right. Okay. I'm sure most of us would not have come up with a total stranger. Having the security of knowing that they are a part of the Love and Stuff community helped. Because I'm sure a lot of that a total stranger never would have heard from me.
Absolutely. But one thing, Marcus,
I'm just trying to get Aria through her part because she's got to go.
I know. What I wanted to say is about Aria, when we were done,
can I have her do hers with Darren and then come back to you? Okay.
My bad.
Thank you so much. So you and Darren were talking, and how did it go?
We had a really good time. Darren actually was the one who kept me on time. We got through like tick, 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 tick. And I was laughing because I was saying to him, very few people can do that with me. When they start talking and I get going, I am going. It's like, oh yeah, I'm right. We're supposed to be talking about this now. Okay. And he did it with such grace. I didn't even realize it until part of the way through, like, oh dang, we're gonna finish early because
okay. So you were bowling through those questions. Anything resonate in the conversation that for either of you, anything resonate or stand out in your conversation?
Darren is a gentle giant. Darren is a spiritual giant. Darren is an amazingly astute minister. He's just a great guy all around. He's super intelligent. And I think a couple of times he's probably tested me a little bit. At least it just kind of felt like that with his questions, and I purposely didn't answer them.
So when you say he was testing you with his questions, was it the 36 questions or some additional?
some of the 1 or 2 few sidebar questions we got to.
Oh, okay. So Darren, you had a whole other set of questions apparently.
That's not true. That's not true.
It wasn't that many, Marcus.
What resonated with you about Aria and the questions that, the real ones?
See, the one word kind of comes to mind is fearless. And I say that, and that's the arc of the conversation because, with talking about her previous experience, and the fact that she is not hampered or hindered by where she's been. And she is willing and just charging forward. That fearlessness, that was something that really reached me.
Here
Okay.
comes the awe again.
Okay. And so Aria and Bilal. Now Bilal, you can get your
Oh,
come on, Bilal.
that-
All right.
that had to go, my bag. But anyway, but one of the things when we left off, I felt that I connected with a good friend, you know. So even though we went into this just asking the questions, there was no side questions, but you know, we stuck to the script. We answered the questions as they were laid out. But at the end, I was like, man, you know, we could be, you know, really good friends. Somebody who I can actually probably even confide in, you know, some of my issues that I have, you know.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I don't cry. No. So anyway, so it was a good exercise.
Okay. And Aria, what was your from the questions with
Exactly
Bilal?
the same. Bilal and I felt like we had known each other forever already. And now it's literally the first actual conversation I think Bilal and I have ever had in life. And
Okay.
it felt like we have known each other forever. I even met his family when we were talking. And one of the things that I think each of the guys found out about me is that they have all become a prayer assignment. There were things that each of them said to me, and I said, "Oh, that's why I'm praying for you." Okay, cool. Now I know. And so I think we'll all be connected. Period.
Okay. Going to Jay Gerald. Jay Gerald, what resonated with you about Aria?
I think the biggest thing that resonated with me about Aria was her sense of humor. She's driven, and that she really knows what she wants to do, and she's going after it, and she goes after it strong. So that's what resonated with me.
Okay. And Aria, what resonated with you about Jay Gerald?
Again, he's another gentle guy. He loves his family, and he's funny. And he went to Cass Tech. Whoop, whoop. Oh, anyway. Technicians in the house. Okay, but no, he's hilarious. And we just had a good time. Like I said, I didn't walk into this kind of knowing what to expect, partially because I had missed a lot of the instructions. And the other part is because, like I said, I read the title of the questions, but it didn't compute right away because I thought literally this was an experiment to see about people who don't know each other being able to talk to each other and be open with each other. It didn't even dawn on me anything romantic about it. I was just like, oh, okay, this is gonna be an interesting little social experiment. I can't wait to see what happens. And I think, like I said, that it helped me a lot that all of these men were men who already I could honor because of the fact that they were a part of this community and they were strong parts of the community who you already honored. So it allowed me to trust them a lot more than the average stranger.
Okay, good point. Aria, thank you so much. I know that you have another assignment to handle. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you guys so much. I had a ball.
Okay.
And I haven't forgotten anything that I said, and I will talk to you all soon.
All right, thanks.
Bye, Aria.
Bye, ladies.
Bye, Aria.
See you later.
Christina, I wanted to
Thank you.
Christina, I wanted to go to you. So,
Yes, sir.
Your time with, and I hope that everybody made it through the questions, but your time with Darren, anything resonate from your time with Darren that are around these 36 questions that lead to love?
For Darren, I'm going to say that we had a lot in common, singing, like musically, and so the common factors were there. He was a really nice time to talk to. The conversation flowed really nicely. We had I had a good time talking to him, and he's handsome. So
okay, all right. And
easy
I
to
guess
talk.
somewhere in there were some questions. Did any of them resonate specifically? Any answers that you remember?
Oh, specifically, yes, sir. I'll be honest. He told me that he's a procrastinator, and I'm not. So maybe that was one of the questions, was like, if you had to wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, you know. So stuff like that. But I think as far as when we were talking about having a dream or something to do that we haven't done yet, it was common, like traveling, finishing up some things that we really need to do before we die, things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so, Darren, what about Christina? What was your overall impression, and any of the questions or answers stand out to you about Christina?
Overall impression, the whole arc of the conversation. She loves love, and she is not her vulnerability, strangely, her vulnerability is a strength for her because of how much she believes in love. Mm-hmm. And that came from several of the different questions.
Okay.
That were her responses to them.
Okay. And any one thing stand out about those responses or questions, or Christina?
Yeah, because again, I mentioned it way earlier. She most uniquely, her response to the question about, living to 90, would you want your mind or your body? She was like, I want both, 50-50, half and half. That was so unique to me. And so that stood out, that resonated.
Yeah. And did it resonate with you in a way that you're like, or how did it, in what way did that resonate?
Yeah, be in the sense that it took a certain kind of intelligence, a certain kind of way of seeing things, okay, to be able to answer that way.
Got it. And Christine has stepped away. I think she's cooking. I'm gonna go.
All right, I'm still here though. I can hear you.
Got it. I'm going to Bilal.
Wait. One question, Marcus. What are you cooking?
What am I cooking? I'm frying chicken wings and olive oil, and I'm making broccoli, and I have some sweet potatoes.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. You got your let love spread like a pandemic, so spread some plates around the Detroit area.
All of that.
Absolutely.
Bilal, what was your impression of Christina, and any of her answers stand out to you that just come straight to your mind?
Okay, let's see. Christina impressed me because she's pretty smart. She's driven. She's independent, and we had some similarities even in relationships, which we kind of talked about. So when she talked about like a past relationship, I'm like, oh wow, almost exact. So so it made a easier connection along the way. Her sense of humor, she's funny, she's always smiling. So it was an enjoyable conversation. I'm trying to see. I'm still trying to get over that. Yeah, she made me blush with the thing, the voice. I was taken off guard. But outside of that, Christina, she, we had a good conversation. Again, someone else who, I can call up and say, hey, this is what I'm going through, talk me through it, and I feel that she probably wouldn't give me some bad advice or, try to sabotage me or whatever. So, she's trustworthy.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And Christina, what about Bilal? What was your overall impression? And was there any one answer or response that stuck out to you?
Outside of her psychoanalyzing me sometimes, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yep, Christina.
The rules of love and affection playing in your life. If there's something that there was like the questions, if there was something that you could, I wish I had someone with whom I could share blank, So we agreed in a lot of that. The love and affection part impressed me. And I do actually think he had a nice voice. So I found a lot of connection. Like I said, like if basically I'm gonna just put out there, I would date Bilal. So
let me ask this. I felt
that much impression.
Okay, I felt that a little bit, but I was gonna ask, when you said you all pretty much agreed, was it agreed on the item that you would share with somebody? Because last week that was the That was the heavy, medium, light. So did you all come to a medium
Well,
spot?
we got to talk. We had to get, but see, with us, we had skipped through. We didn't do, like, I think one of the ladies said we didn't do it right.
Right.
So when we did it the right way, it was more comfortable. It was more sharing, and it was more that we could do more with that question. Before it was like,
Got it.
should I say it or shouldn't I? This time I was like, okay, I can kind of share.
Got it. Okay, very good.
So Bilal's a good guy.
Okay, and then Bilal, she said that she would date you. How did that land on you? I'm not looking for you to respond and say I date her, but how did it
Me
land?
neither.
How did that land on you?
I'm blushing again.
Okay. I just wanted to see if that's what I didn't want to say. You're blushing. I wanted you to.
You can see the color, you know. Yeah.
I can't really, but I'm with you.
I know I'm joking.
That's
Jay Gerald, you have gone away from. Okay, there you go. And look at you, got on your love and stuff. I didn't even recognize that. Look at you. Jay Gerald, what was your impression of Christina? You got to unmute yourself.
We listening.
All right, so I think with Christina, there was a whole lot that we shared in common that I was not expecting.
Okay.
It was an easy conversation. Unfortunately, we ran over time. It was all her fault.
Leave the room. Get out.
You mean you ran over?
It was all her fault. And
oh my goodness. How did that happen?
We had a good time.
I don't know how it happened.
What were you doing in that room unsupervised?
We had a good time.
Yeah,
going over 36 questions.
But
we got through all the
run over in general in every room. Is that what happened?
No,
every room you were in was late.
No, only this room was late.
It's good talking to me. The people I talked to were good to talk to, and they felt I was good to talk to. So we was like, yeah,
I know.
Gonna run over.
Rooms, you set your timer, but y'all didn't get out in time.
Some people didn't think it was a good idea to get out on time.
Got it. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing. That's important information to know.
I'm honest.
Thank you so much. And so, Jay Gerald, even though you ran over time, I guess you got extra information about Christina. Any of the questions or responses resonate with you? Any of her responses stick out like you can remember it almost verbatim?
I guess the one, I don't even know if it was one of the questions, but or one of the answers to the questions. But we both to Western Michigan and discussing school and family and her daughters. And the one that really resonated was when she was telling me about how she just had a conversation with her daughter tonight, and that she had to be the parent, and yet she has to be loving on the opposite side as well. And she played both of those parts very well.
Okay. All right. Christina, Jay Gerald, did anything resonate with you about him? Any of the responses to his questions that stand out?
Yes. I'm going to say when we were talking about 4 minutes, I believe, of your life, take 4 minutes to tell your partner your life. So I learned a lot of great things about him. Like he said, that I wouldn't have known or imagined if that question wouldn't have came up, because it's kind of like a little snippet, and you got to kind of like go through it real quick because you want people to know the most important things. And I found out we were both PKs, which is preacher kids, and that a lot about our mothers, and like he said that he has daughters and granddaughters, and I have a daughter. So the parenting part kind of came up because we're single parents. So that was very important, how we related to our children and how we disciplined them or not. But I think the greatest accomplishments of your life is, he was saying, his calling, receiving it, and actually going for it. And I think I had a similar kind of thing. Like, you know, God told me that this is your vision and your journey. You should do it. And I had to jump. I had to stop what I was doing and do what God asked me to do because it was more rewarding. So we had that in common as well. So some of the questions brought out, obviously, like I said, I would have never known he was a PK, and I was a PK, a preacher's kid. And a lot of things that happened in our life being under a pastor as a child, or being in the church as a pastor's kid. So it was really interesting. And I would say that I would date J. Gerald as well.
Okay. You are just, you're hitting, you know, you found handsome men that you date. Okay. Make sure you show off that chicken when you're done. It might get you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Don't show it off.
I can't wait.
Pass the
I'm gonna
piece.
show. I can't. Yeah.
Okay. Tasha. Tasha Green.
I'm still here.
Okay. We have to see you for this part. We have
Hold on. I'm trying to charge my phone at the same time.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Hopefully y'all don't lose me.
Okay. We hope.
Well, it's on 3%.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Plug it in. Okay. You had time with Darren. What's your overall impression of Darren? And is there anything in that time with Darren that stood out in his responses from these 36 questions?
We answered all the questions. No. Well, with Darren, he's I see that he was more than what I thought he was, as far as he's a gentle giant.
Okay. Any of the questions, can you remember any of his responses that stood out to you?
Hold on, I'm going, no.
Okay. Darren, what's your overall impression of Tasha, and did any of her responses stand out to you?
Her response that stood out to me, the very last one, where it talked about sharing something personal with you, and asked how they would, you know, how your
oh yeah, I forgot about that one. You're right.
Yeah, her response there really stood out to me, because it spoke to what my overall impression of her is. Very big about family, love and family, but the overall impression is that Tasha be the one that, you know, if somebody in your corner, that if you got somebody you got to share with, that you need somebody that got your back, that's Tasha. That's my impression over the whole conversation.
Okay. And Tasha, what was your impression of Bilal, and what, if any, questions or responses stood out to you?
Okay, can I go back to Darren for a hot second? Because one did step out where I can't remember how the question was, as far as tell something that's going on with you, how would you do it? How, you know, share that one and see how they'll help you out with it.
Mm-hmm.
I just know it was in segment 3.
Okay.
He helped out a lot as far as his information or whatnot.
Okay.
And then from what he just said.
Okay.
And you said, well, Bilal.
Yeah. What was your impression of Bilal, and the response or responses that stood out to you?
Bilal, another gentle giant, as well as I know that he'll get into your tail. You know, he don't like it seems like he don't like showing the gentleness of himself. Mm-hmm. We had an awesome conversation. I could see me dating all 3 of these guys. I
was trying to get you to go to one at a time, but thank you.
I know, but I'm just, like I said, I'm at so much of a percentage. But me and Bilal, I'm trying to think, it's that one where he was saying the last time he cried, and I was sharing with him, my son don't cry in front of people either, if he cried at all, you know. And I said, I guess that's just a man thing. And then it was another one where I told him, I think I know him from growing up, still haven't figured out where, if we got a mutual friend or whatnot, but it'll come to me eventually. But he was just so easy to talk to.
Okay.
There's other questions that we put into the questions that I did find out, a lot about him.
So you all added questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was a quiz,
Let me go to Bilal. Bilal, what was your overall impression of Tasha, and what questions that were among the 36 questions stood out to you?
Tasha was my number 2, so I had a little practice.
He was the second person. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Not your number 2, not your ranking.
She was the second person who I spoke with.
Okay, thank you.
So gotta keep it clear for this brother. But and I found it was easier to talk to her because I knew the questions. Okay. Mm-hmm. If this was like a first date kind of thing, I probably wouldn't have opened up as much. Mm-hmm. Because you don't know what questions are being asked. So anyway, back to Tasha. Tasha, obviously, I missed asking some of the right questions. I still don't know about some cheesecake or something or some cookie. I don't know. But anyway, I'll get to that.
It ain't cheesecake.
What was it?
Cinnamon rolls.
The cinnamon rolls. But Tasha was easy to talk to, and especially when we found out that, okay, we lived in the same neighborhood. So we were trying to figure out, like, who does she know that I know, or where does she go that I went, because it's not like I get around. Come on. But we just had we had a cool connection. Tasha is somebody who, again, is going through all these questions that I would consider a friend, and honestly, I'm not even new friend collecting, to be honest with you, but, Tasha would, be right there.
Okay. All right. And then, Tasha, what did your conversation with Jay Gerald, what did you think of Jay Gerald overall, and what responses to the 36 questions, if any, stood out to you?
It was one where we had, I think was tell 5 things, 5 characteristics, and the characteristics or the compliments he gave me, I'm like, wow, because it's not that many people that see what he said. And that was just my confidence, as well as actually all of them. It was the confidence that stood out the most.
Okay.
I got a brain fart, but still, I loved all of them.
And what did you think of him overall?
Overall, outstanding friend. I could see him being a real good friend.
Okay. Let me go to Jay Gerald. What did you think overall of Tasha, and any of the 36 question responses stand out to you?
So with Tasha, she seems like she seems quiet and shy and all that, but she's not, and that was the main thing that that I got from her, was that she's open, she's honest, and she's a good conversationalist. So that was what stood out to me as far as the questions were concerned. Just all the questions, she really opened up, and I wasn't expecting her to be as open as she was. About family and about her grandmother and cooking in the kitchen with her grandmother. That was real telling.
Okay. So did that come up when you were talking about how you were raised, or was that an additional question? I'm just curious.
That was one of the great the question about the best moments. Fondest memory.
And so you shared that fondest memory with him. I'm just curious, but not with Bilal?
No, the thing I didn't share with Bilal was, and see, you got to remember, Bilal was the first person I talked to out of the group. Mm-hmm. So these questions, I didn't, I guess I opened up more since I knew what the questions were. And not only that, I wasn't as vulnerable this week as I was last week. But it was, what was your worst memory? That's the one I didn't answer with Bilal.
No, my question was, did you have that same answer about the cooking with your grandmother that you had with J. Gerald, did you have that with Bilal? Was the
No.
question. Okay. All right. That's what I was trying to find out. Okay. Thank you. I wanted to go because Valencia and Bilal, you all were first. I wanted to go to the two of you that were first. This was fresh in, right? And so from that first conversation, even though you now have seen all conversations, so it's, you got to kind of, you know, pull that apart. But Valencia, what's your impression of Bilal, and what in that interview question stands out from his responses?
Flustered because she's still on mute.
Thanks, Bilal.
Welcome, Valencia.
It was 7 days ago, so let me try to get my hair rewrapped around it. I'm trying to think which question I think was like that stood out the most. Maybe
we're both in this room feeling.
Yeah, that one was. Thank you, Bilal. Appreciate that. Because at first it was kind of, for a minute it was like, how are we supposed to do this? And then Bilal just said, we're both in this room feeling comfortable. And I was like, okay, now I kind of get where we're headed. So those kinds of, that question was good for us. Okay. We were in the room feeling comfortable and open. Okay. And that was really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you feel? What do you think of him overall?
Well, saying Bilal's a great guy would be like saying what everybody else says, and I don't really want to say that, but even though it's the truth. What I think is this, Bilal, don't beat me, please. Bilal is an amazing work in progress, and I am just really interested to see on the other side of this chiseling down of the things he and I have talked about, and he knows what I'm talking about, that just what's going to emerge and who's going to emerge from that. He's a great guy now, but he's on his way somewhere to be a whole different metamorphosis of what he has been.
Okay. Bilal, what do you think of Valencia overall, and what responses stood out to you about Valencia?
Well, like I said, that whole set 3 was just something else. Because she was my first person who I answered questions and gave questions to.
Get all those words out.
I was gonna say because she was my first.
Right.
When we got to set 3, it was like, oh wow, so now I got to get even deeper. I went, I like the shallow part of the pool. So I said, well, here, you know what? If I don't open up, then I may miss out. And then she even told me that I may miss out on a wonderful opportunity. So I said, well, look, let me go ahead and try this thing. Let's taste and see. So when we got to that first question, we were both in this room feeling, it was just natural. I just let loose, say, hey, we're both feeling comfortable. We were talking, we were having an exchange, we were making a connection. So I think set 3 for us really allowed us to see, deeper to who each other was, because she shared some things with me as well. Like, wow, just thinking like, man, I wish the best for her, just because of some of the things she's told me. And so there was a connection, because of set 3, even though you did rush us. Just want to put that out there.
I rushed the people that, you know why you got rushed, but here's my question. Because I don't know if you answered it, but you did say some great stuff.
I know how to dance around a question, brother. Okay.
And they tell me I'm a really great dancer, but there are times when I stop the music. Were there any specific responses that resonated with you? Specific responses?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
What do you think of Valencia overall?
I mean, it's this one question, and she put it out there, and she was like, will this happen to me? And I mean, I was just like, wow, you know, not to put it in the street, but it was just, you know, it hit my heart.
Okay.
You know? So,
right. And
absolutely.
overall, what do you think of Valencia overall?
Oh, Valencia is fantastic, you know, in which any man on this panel, any man in the world who is honest and true, it would be a blessing for that man to have Valencia. You know, but it has to be the right guy. You know, it has to be someone who is confident within their own self. You know, you can't half step with Valencia.
So let me ask it a different way. What do you think about Valencia? He did. I thought he was telling me what other guys would be happy.
Any.
I told you Valencia is an awesome woman.
Okay. Maybe you said that and I missed it. I thought you were telling me any guy on this panel or in the world in Dubai or the Congos would love to have Valencia. I didn't hear what you were saying about you. That's what I was trying to find out. Okay.
No, it was a deflection.
Okay, because none of you all are as forthright as Christina. She said, I like this one, small, medium.
Christina the bomb. She just like boom.
Oh, and that wasn't the question I was going to ask, but she offered it. So I'm like, okay, let me just, ask, what do you think overall? Let me go to J. Gerald, because Valencia, you do know J. Gerald, and you do know Valencia. So that might have been different. Did you all learn any new stuff about each other? And how has that shaped this connection through questions, these 36 questions? What do you think of J. Gerald now? And did any questions stand out, response rather? And
I knew it was crazy and now it's bona fide. But no, I'm just kidding.
You spent your time with him. You spent your time. You
Long
did
as,
time right.
long as you know.
And now I know it's true.
Now you know. You spent your time.
As long as you know. And you know why. And you know
know
some of the reasons why.
Yeah, you did your work as a young fan. You did your work.
Yeah. J. Gerald and I have a commonality from church years. And so faith-wise, we resonate with each other as far as our foundations and stuff are concerned. But I guess I learned some things because these questions make you ask some things you would not ask of someone just in normal, discussion with them. Mm-hmm. And then the other part is that you get to see and hear what they think of you. And that's not something you always get a direct answer about. So.
Okay. And so now we know you're bona fide crazy. What did you find out about Valencia, J. Gerald? And what answer or answers jumped out to you or stood out to you?
That Valencia is not always Mama V.
Okay.
She's funny. She has a zest for life. Her willingness to love resonated with me because although you go through so much in your life and still be willing to be vulnerable again, that resonated with me.
Okay. All right. And then Darren and Valencia. So Darren, what did you think of Valencia and overall? And were there any responses that stood out to you and resonated?
Your mic's on. Your mic's off like me. See?
No responses, no questions, particularly that resonated, because the way Valencia communicates resonates. And if something overall impression wise, if there's an overall impression,
now I'm curious, when you say if there is, you had an overall impression for everybody else. So when you say if there is, What's the pause? I'm just curious.
It's not a pause,
Okay. Okay.
but the way she communicates,
Mhm.
there's several different levels that we actually kind of connect on.
Are,
And so
can you, when you say several different levels, are there names to those levels? I'm just curious.
yeah.
You said several different levels. I'm like, preacher, you going for 3 points. What you mean?
That's one.
Well, I think one of the things is that yes, my first interview was with her. I say interview, yes.
Yes.
And so that has its own uniqueness to it.
Okay.
The fact that again, I said the way she communicates, the process of communicating was easy, and it flowed with all of the ladies. There's a level on which Valencia and I communicated just beyond it being easy. That was another overall impression. And then maybe if there's a third, 3 points you said, if there's a third, Valencia, she made me want to talk.
Okay. All right.
And I don't like talking about me.
Okay. All
but
right.
She made me want to.
And so that overall, I know you gave me levels, Reverend, but that overall, what's that overarching, as you gave what everybody else, did this, overarching, what would you say that is for Valencia?
She the truth.
Okay, she's the truth. I like that.
Yeah, she the truth.
Okay. I like Rhonda had said earlier, but I'll read it now. It's easy to stand in the shallow part. The deep end is where you overcome challenges. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And I think it's cute how all of you all are linked via text, and I'm sure you're going to keep these conversations going.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I at least know how to text in clandestine. But anyway, Valencia,
Yes.
Darren, what do you think the overarching for Darren? Do you resonate with these several levels that he talked about?
Absolutely.
What stands out?
Absolutely. Let me tell you the trivia. Our mothers are born on the same day. That I think that put us in a place where we were like, so the person born on that same day is who raised you. And so there was just something about that just, connected from the moment he said that. I was like, what? Anyway, so that was cool. But because Darren and I share a theological side, we share an artistic side, we share an educational side. It's just a lot. It's a lot. So that's why he says all those levels. So
clarity.
That was it. I think it made us more open because there were some things that did not have to be explained. They were just, they connected. I'm a brain person. The stronger the brain, better off I am with a person.
Yeah.
So, and I guess I could kind of say that there's no unintelligent man in this group.
Okay.
That helped the whole concept, knowing that they know their stuff, whatever they're doing, they are trying to be at the top of their game, wherever it is. And that's important to me. And Darren is no different in that. But all of the connections were just ludicrous. His pastor grew up in my home church, and just, it was just a lot of stuff.
And how do you think, what is your overall arching opinion of Darren?
I think Darren's great. I think he's a wonderful man.
Okay.
I think that there's a lot to him. And I think he's at a point, not to psychoanalyze it all, but I think he's finally at a point where he's willing to see and accept all of who Darren is, and that's worth somebody having.
Okay. All right. I think that's everybody. And Christina offered up. She date everybody in the room. I'm not asking that question of you. Would you date everybody in the room? Though I appreciate it, Christine. Thank you for offering that.
No problem.
I wasn't going to raise that question, but thank you. What I am curious to know is.
Tasha said it too, by the way.
Who said it?
She did.
Tasha said she would date all three of them. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear, did you make a connection in a way that you want to know more, explore more with anybody that you connected with over these 2 weeks?
Yes.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Yes.
3 yeses, and I'm waiting for the gentleman to chime in.
Oh, that's a general population question, huh? Oh,
Yes, it's for everybody.
Yes.
J. Gerald says yes. Bilal
Have
shaking
to.
his head. I don't know if
Have
that is
to.
yes.
I said
Have
yes.
to.
You have to. Okay, Darren, I want to explore that answer just a moment.
I knew that was one you would reach for.
Well, you put it out there. I couldn't reach it if it wasn't there.
Yeah, I
True.
just on. Let me say, just on the general level,
Before you
that
do
to
that,
be able.
I got 1 second because you can't see it, but this hair is standing up on the back of my neck. Because I want the viewers to hear this and listen intently, because even if you don't ascribe any of it to the questions, I think the process has borne out something where you say yes and so for that alone, I want viewers to hear. While I think some of it is cerebral, as Valencia said, I think some of it is heart matter. I think it's important. This process might be something that other people will want to try. Would you say that, Darren?
Yeah, I think people would love to do this.
Yeah.
I think so.
We're gonna give them more opportunity. But tell me why you said I have to, got to. That raised. I was like, oh,
yeah.
woo. I felt like I was in church and was gonna shout a Baptist shout. You know, I'm Baptist born, Baptist bred. I'll probably be Baptist dead one day. But before then, I was gonna get in a good shout. I was gonna say, woo.
Okay. Some shouting music, Marcus.
No, in the Baptist church, you don't have to have music to shout. You can shout off a good hymn right after they're done.
And preaching. And
Wait
preaching.
a minute. You done got me raised up. After they've done a stanza and
quiet. Well. It is well. You take one, it is well with my soul. That'll take you on in. Right.
Okay, Love and Stuff just went to Love Church Baptist College. Okay, I'm sorry. But I am excited that because so many people, Darren, so many people are looking for love, and I'm looking for broader love than just the one relationship. Yeah. But I understand that people are looking for that person that they're going to walk out the rest of their days with, and I think that's an important consideration. And if there are ways and tools that can be used to do that, that's exciting to me. But back to you.
And I still remember what I was going to say when you first said
it. A shout to help you. Yeah.
It will get you through. Yeah. It get you through. Because the platform and foundation for love begins where this experience actually does, then it's a disservice to it'd be a disservice to myself, even though I didn't enter the experiment looking for love. Let me say that. Okay. It'd be an experiment. I mean, it'd be a disservice not to make connections with the ladies that are in this group. I mean, you have provided an opportunity by connecting us together to make an enrichment in our lives, to be able to know them beyond this experiment. And so that's why I say
preacher. I'd shout on that too. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I can't wait for the next cohort. It's not a cohort, but I want more folks in Love and Stuff, because again, you are people that I love, and many of you that I admire. That feels good to hear that this space is worth people taking the chance on love, because that's what I think is important. Why wouldn't you pursue it if you have some connection? And wherever that connection is going to lead you to love, marriage, wherever there is on that path, I think if you think that that opportunity is there, that maybe you should pursue it, like Darren said. I think that is, I'm gonna find a way to hashtag that, Darren. You're gonna have to help me find a good hashtag for that, because I don't think it could be said better. This is a great opportunity. Anybody else? I know, again, Tasha and Christina have put it out there. Yeah, we're going, yes. I don't know how you would say it. You would continue down this path of exploring relationships, right? Anybody want to add anything to that? Like Darren said, I got to. Anybody have that same gusto? I'm gonna call it gusto, that you got to.
I don't think that there's any way that you can answer these questions with anyone and it not be a catastrophe and you not continue having conversation, whether it's just because you have places where you resonate with humor, or someone that you feel you can talk to, or feel like you can share something that you're going through with, and that they will tell you honestly. Because everyone I talked to, their friendship thing was about honesty and loyalty and trust. And so if that's there, then there should be something that continues, even if it doesn't, fork to the left. Toward the heart. Some things will stay the course and other things may fork. And I think that what these questions allowed us to be is open to the fork. Open to the fork. And of course that takes more conversation, and that takes some one-on-ones, virtually, yes, right now, but ultimately in each other's presence, because what you feel here may not be the same when you are in each other's presence, and you have to take that into consideration.
Very well put.
Well, I got to say this. I done shared too much with all three of y'all. So
and we got a meeting when it's over.
I gotta keep y'all close to make sure that the secrets don't get out. And whatever that looks like, that's what that's going to look like.
Yes, sir, Doc. Yes, sir.
I won't even
agree.
Because we don't do sister wives.
I agree to a point.
I won't even respond to that, J. Gerald.
But that is interesting, Marcus. Really, with all the guys, we're all thinking like, man, we should have had some disclosure statements, some confidentiality statements or something,
We're not doing that.
No,
I got to worry about that.
Oh no, I'm just saying, because that's just, I guess, how we are raised. We're not raised to really share and really share our emotions and open up. And so these questions made us open up and share things that we don't share on an everyday basis, because, based on no matter wherever you came from, it shows that you're vulnerable or that you're weak in a way. And as a man, I can't show you that I'm weak. I always have to have that caveman persona,
This is the one thing I'm hoping, that we've been through these 36 questions, and if these conversations with whomever continues, that we don't have to go back to square one, because you shut back up. Don't shut back up, please.
Yeah. I was going to ask that question, Valencia, a little differently. Is anybody, now that people have said, yes, I want to continue, is anybody nervous?
No, not at all. Nervous was after set one.
Okay. But now that you've expressed some intentions, some people, right? Are you now is anybody hearing that and saying, oh, this could really be it? And does that make you nervous? Anybody have
It
any
makes me
nerves?
excited. I don't
Yeah,
feel
I think there's an
nervous.
excitement. There's this like
It's like, what's next?
undercurrent, that bubbles in the
Yeah.
pot before it boils, just kind of
Yeah.
like,
I want to ask
okay,
that question.
what's happening here? Let's
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I want to hear from Bilal and Tasha. Any nerves? Tasha, no. Bilal.
Probably some, absolutely.
And what would those nerves be around?
Yeah, I knew you were gonna ask me another question on top of that.
It is kind of an interview style. I do kind of ask questions.
Oh, it's the HR manager, So
I'll take that hat off. Okay.
no, the actual nervousness would be, again, based on past experience, what do I have to lose if I go forward?
What do you have to lose? What do you
have
feel
to
like you
lose?
have to lose?
So does the benefit outweigh the possibility of a loss again?
What do you feel like you could lose?
Wow.
Well, see, now you're getting personal again. So, okay. So for me, the wall is around the heart. It takes a very special person to chisel around that wall. And, and I probably talked with Valencia and Christina a little bit about the wall. So, at my point, I wouldn't be going back to square one. It would be, do I take another brick down?
And I guess I'm just
right now.
What would you lose? I'm trying to figure out what would you lose?
Man, if a relationship doesn't work out, that hurts, brother.
So I hear Darren, I don't hear Darren, but he's mouthing with his mic off himself. He's saying you would lose yourself. Is that what you think you would lose?
No, I wouldn't lose myself, but like I said, it's just the pain, because again, that macho bravado or whatever, okay, I'm speaking just for myself. I don't know if the other brothers have the same issue, but as a man, I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be in pain, and at this point in my life right now, I got a bubble that I'm not allowing myself to go through certain things that may help me. And Valencia got her hand up over there. So
I was teasing.
Tasha over there looking at me like, this brother's weird. No,
actually, I'm just waiting
Valencia was bursting your bubble.
I was bursting.
Oh, you were bursting my bubble.
Bursting.
Bam. Yeah.
It's more like you need it.
Yeah. So you would lose
the loss. I would lose. Okay. Oh man, so many people watching. So yes, I will lose a part of myself. I'm going to find that escape route. Yes.
I'm just asking if you don't think it's something that you want to answer. You could say, I have nothing else to say. I can't promise.
I'm trying to find you a good, comfortable answer from me. So no, because it could help somebody out there. So yeah. So again, the whole, I can lose a part of my heart.
Okay.
And I don't want to have it, sew it up again. Like really, I took the opportunity. Now I got to sew it back up again. And that's based just on my prior experience and things that I've shared with these ladies, all four of them.
Got it. Now there are 4 ladies and 3 guys. Are anybody concerned about maybe there's a connection with one more than the other? Is that a concern for anybody?
No, because, and for me, I would say, love will find a way if it's meant to be. There's no competition when it comes to finding the right mate. If God has ordained it, then be open to it, be vulnerable. Yeah, you might get hurt, but to my brothers and to Bilal, call me. Let's talk through that. Sometimes we need each other to be each other's shoulder to lean on.
Absolutely.
Because those things that you're speaking of is one of the reasons why there's not enough of us on here.
Absolutely.
Agree.
And one of the other reasons is not enough of us are ready,
Right. Right. Right.
which is the sum yes. I just wanted that to be on the record.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. So would you recommend these questions to people today?
Yes,
Yep.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
they're good questions.
They're good questions. Okay. Well, it is 10:37. I am going to be tracking with you, not to see who's connecting necessarily, but just asking as you're going down your journeys individually or collectively. Bilal, you with us? You with us, Bilal?
Yes, I'm with this.
Okay, because I know y'all are texting. I hope you're reaching Jesus in all these texts. I need y'all just.
You know, I ain't texting my mama, man.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Because him and his mama, they tight like that.
Yeah, I think I my mom's in heaven, but I think I know a mom text from a room text.
Marcus, I think
I'm
Tasha
being
was
good,
wanting
Marcus.
to say something. Tasha,
Thank
were
you.
you wanting to say something?
Thank you, Darren.
I forgot.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Darren.
Good save, Darren. Thank you.
Right. So
Thanks, Darren. I'm sorry.
with these questions, you would recommend them for people to do. And as you continue down these journeys, Love and Stuff still wants to track with you, maybe not to know the intimate details of any journey, but just to see how it's coming along, just to see if you've connected any more deeply with anybody on this journey. Is that something that you would feel comfortable sharing with Love and Stuff at some point in the future?
Yes.
Hey, Gerald, you're fired.
I think that the thing that we have to agree to as this community is that we are all open to that process, because we don't need any, first of all of us are mature enough that there should be no drama that ensues. So if you are getting to know someone and, but also be strong enough to say, hey, this connection is greater than the others for me. And so I'm gonna bow out gracefully because I want to see what this is gonna do. I think we have to keep communicating. I think communication is real important, because this is getting to be a tight-knit community, and we don't need to have anything that makes it difficult along the way.
Yeah.
And I want people to see that it works or not.
Yeah.
Or not. So it is an experiment. It is something that we are willing to do from beginning to end, because we want to see if it works or not as well. But it might help somebody out there that has a lot of things that we have going on, whether it's less vulnerability or less opening up or whatever. So we all have something that these questions will pull out of each of us that you probably would never have done without them. I'm going to say that. The questions are really good to bring out people's characteristics, who they love, how they feel about their family. So it's a lot to learn in the 36 questions, which is good. That you might say, yes, this person over this person, absolutely.
And one thing I want to say to the community is the people that you have in front of you are real. There's no actors, there's no fake, there's nothing. Yeah. We've all been, from what I'm hearing, we've all been open, honest with ourselves first, and honest with each other, and honest with this community. And my prayer and hope is that as we show ourselves vulnerable, that we become more filled and more proven that we can become more vulnerable in our relationships, whether it's internal or external, whether it's family, whatever the relationship is. Our primary concern for Love and Stuff is that we show love. And I believe that this right here will help people to feel love, to be able to be vulnerable, to be able to even heal from any situation that they're going through themselves because of our openness.
Yeah. I
I agree.
know that one aspect that provides an interesting layer of color to that is that most of the people in this room, there are other people in Love and Stuff community that have some affinity for most of the people in the room. So they're watching on the sidelines. You make connections that maybe they haven't taken the time themselves to make. And so that just does add an interesting layer to it. And I'm just hoping, you know, as we go, you know, forward, as people go forward in relationships, it's much again like we talk sometimes about shooting your shot. And if you decide not to shoot your shot, there's some people that are moving into the championship round. And so you just got to be aware that either you get in the game or you watch it. And so
get in where you fit in.
It's that's an interesting aspect. So while I believe that everybody is 100, there are people who, I won't say aren't 100, but there are people in the community that say, hey, is that Darren single? And you know what I tell them, Darren? Ask Darren. When people ask me, is Valencia single? I say, ask Valencia, but make sure you ask her right, because you and I are going to have problems if you don't. Or if somebody says, that
wait. They don't have to ask me right?
Well, they're going to ask you right, because you are the gentle giant that all these women said, right? Everybody said, he's a gentle giant. He's intellectual. He's just, well, you said an intellectual. He's great, you know, so I don't think I need to come to your rescue in that, you know, but I'm from the D. I got you, brother. I'm from the D. But I, you know, I do have a soft spot as it relates to Valencia, and it's kind of a Detroit soft spot. So that's the stuff that comes with love, and I'm overcoming in holiness, but don't mess it up. Jesus is still working on me. That's what I'm saying. But for each of you, with the exception of Tasha, but for each of you, there are people in the community that have said, you know, that have hit the inbox. And I'm like, oh, you're in the wrong inbox. This is Marcus Holmes. You got to go in somebody else's inbox. So I'm wondering, you know, that's an interesting aspect of that, where people have interest in the community and they're kind of watching. How do you feel hearing that information? Because some of you are hearing it for the first time. I said to myself, no, I'm not going to be an advocate for anybody specifically in the Love and Stuff community, because that makes it difficult for other people. When I start to say, oh, you go with you, and then find out 10 other people, I think people can just build their own connections. And I know that's hard for some people, but you all have done it with people that were reasonably stranger to you. And I think we can have other groups of people if they're willing to do it. I just know there are some folks in the community that's still, you know, holding a torch, as it were, on the sideline. So hearing that, how do you feel hearing that part?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Why just the exception of me?
Well,
Yeah.
Well, Tasha, the exception of you is I haven't had somebody inbox me about you.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. I've had people inbox me about everybody else in the room and ask their status. And that might be, you know, sometimes you are more in the background than you are. This, I think, is the first time that you've really been in the foreground since the one interview I did for you 2 years ago. So they might not see you as much as they're seeing everybody else. And so, like I said, when I started out Love and Stuff, 2016, I got to go back and look at the date. We really started out talking about political issues. The reason it got to Love and Stuff, Tasha, is that people started to inbox me and not ask about the topics. They were asking about the people and said, oh, is so-and-so is so intelligent. Is he single? And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So then there were 17 guys at that time and only 7 women who said, we can't find nobody to date. You know what? I was like, you kidding me? I'm talking about faithless electors. You want to talk about love? I said, okay, it's Love and Stuff. And so we started to have these inbox conversations. So people always come to my inbox to ask about other people. And I decided, no, I won't be the moderator of love in that regard. People will have to shoot their shot. Unless I really feel led, these two people belong together and I'm going to do a matchmaking. I try not to do that in the Love and Stuff community because, again, people will feel left out, or that's the person I wanted. So I don't do it that way. I let natural things happen. But what's happened as of late, people are afraid to shoot their shot. And so they're shooting their shot in my inbox, and that is not going to get you no basket. You're shooting in the wrong basket.
I understand now.
Yep.
So they got to shoot the shot. Now we're in the playoffs. We in game 5. And we just about to name the MVP or something.
Mm.
And now people are like, well, let me step up and see if I can be a starting player.
Mm.
And all I'm saying is, how do you feel about that, having heard me say it?
I think it comes with the territory.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is this, and anytime that we're in the public eye like this, and I think all of us have realized, even when we agreed that we was going to do this, that those type of situations can occur. It is, for me, it just comes with the territory.
Okay. Darren was trying to jump in a couple times. What you saying, Darren?
Yeah, especially when you bring up the origin and history of Love and Stuff, or this community, which became Love and Stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I got into Love and Stuff naively because it was political conversation when I got in, and it became, it's something else now, and it's like, oh, this is what we are, who we are.
It did start political conversation.
Yeah.
But the before you started coming, in the beginning.
Yes.
But the people in the community were more interested in the connections that they could form.
I'm not complaining. I'm just, my feeling is, okay, this is what we are, who we are now. We
are not a monolith, right? We are social justice. We are Black excellence. We are love on steroids. We are community minded. We are volunteerism. We are a whole bunch of stuff of how you can up your love game. And I think a real good consideration of that, right, especially having people that are social justice minded, is upping your love game does look like lifting the voices of those that have been disenfranchised. That's a real consideration about love. That's why I'm honored that some of you who find that in the center of your working heart are a part of this. But I also know that there are broken people trying to be repaired from broken relationships, and some of that is broken from family, broken from all kind of things. So it's a great collage of aspects. I think it's a lot of layering. So, but yeah, you're right. When you first start coming around, we were talking a lot of social justice, and we still do, just not, so you might have got into some love, sir.
It's becoming. Is that what it is? We're becoming. Is that what it is? It's the becoming.
We are being, and we are discovering that the being is more than what we thought we were becoming.
All right.
If that makes any sense.
Yep. I got it.
Yeah. So it is certainly an evolution, and stay on the ride with us, because it looks like it's going down a good path for some people. And I just wanted to put on the record. Yeah. I just wanted to put it on the record that there are so many people in Love and Stuff that are looking for love, and some of them, at your doorsteps. So
I say shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot. Well, that's what I say, Christina. I think one of the challenges, and I know we're at 10:51, and Jay Gerald would normally be inboxing me and saying, it's at 10:51. I understand.
I'm not going to cut you off like you cut me off.
Oh my!
One of the challenges is that people are afraid. I hate to use that word so loosely, but people have some
Reservations.
reservation, hesitation,
Mhm.
trepidation.
Well,
Yeah.
they're missing out. They're missing out. So I
Getting the
say,
shot because they
Mhm.
are afraid of what Bilal is saying, that some part of me will be lost, or I got to start again at zero, or I'm going to be hurt. And what Darren said one time that I didn't hashtag, and Valencia says often, but love is a risk.
it
You,
is.
you can't get into it without the chance that you might get hurt.
Right.
You,
Or you might find love.
you might bleed.
That individual person, they have to determine if the risk is worth the reward.
Yeah. But you can't say I want in the game and you don't want to get out there and get a foul, because a foul might come with the game. You
Right.
might get fouled if you get on the court.
I might just be
That's
taking
why I
time off.
said.
Most people who get fouled on the court get a chance to get an extra shot. Come on with me.
Shot.
I ain't even preaching, I ain't
Yeah.
trying. So you gotta,
Or two.
You gotta take,
Yeah.
help me out. Help me
You
out. 'cause
gotta
you're playing
take this.
basketball.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Help me out. But it's getting out there. That's the challenge for people. That's why this is so, it is not my brilliance. This went viral and caught my attention. Thank you, Lord, for bringing it to my attention. But that's why this is so important, because you, as I think Jay Gerald said earlier, you're real regular people, though extraordinary people, by no sense of the regular meaning. You are extraordinary individuals, but you're regular people in the sense that there are other people in the world like you, and you stepped out to say, I'm going to be open to try this, and I'm not even sure what it is, but I'm gonna try it. And that's the same energy, same chutzpah, same that you'd have to try wherever you are, if you're thinking about the opportunity for love, or even to be open yourself up to be more vulnerable, if that was part of the journey, or not even part of the journey, but you learned it. And so many people have this fear. I was trying to say, Christina, they're afraid to shoot their shot. And I'm just hoping this shows them, wow, I could shoot my shot. You know, the next cohort I want to be in, or maybe they'll just print the questions off themselves and ask somebody over the phone or whatever, because the time is so short. Life is so short. Life is so many people are leaving this life and losing life and so many things.
And can I just interrupt real quick to say,
shoot your shot.
Yeah, but with that, I'm gonna go on the different side. Is that if you don't do that, you're never going to know. And you might think that Christina is this way, but she's not. You might think that Bilal was this way, but he's not. So for you, it would be a service to you to actually take that risk, to wean out who really is for you or not for you. I've been, and I've expressed this before, on several dates or even talked to people on the phone, and sometimes it stopped right there on the phone. So you have to know where you hold your line. You have to know where you say, hey, at this point, I'm not going to go farther because they might break my heart. And you have that feeling, or you don't have that feeling. You feel great. Like, okay, I can go one more step forward. So I think that's within the risk. It's not just if you're going to get your heart broke or not again. It's how do you know? How do you know if she's or he's not that one for you, or they are someone that could be for you? You have to go that far. And like I said, sometimes it's like, okay, even over the phone, this is not going to work out. You know, that person I might have more feelings than that person. And they say, listen, we're going to be friends. Or, you know, you'd be great for my cousin Gerald. Yep. Okay. So, and then, but you're not going to get that far to know that if you don't go and take the risk and take the bleeding or not. And sometimes you take the bleeding. Is that bleeding worth it? It's like, you know what? That wasn't, you know, I was uncomfortable, but she's still cool. Or you might be uncomfortable talking to somebody and you go, that's enough. So you have to go that far.
And here's the other thing. Here's the other part of that. There is always some growth that comes with the experience of someone in your life that is not you. Because there's always a thought that isn't the way you thought it. There's always a way that they do things that is not the way you would have done it. And there is some growth that comes from that alliance. Even the ones that hurt grow you up. So it's a matter of whether you being stagnant is a place that you want to live in, or whether growth is something that you ascribe to. And if you ascribe to growth, then sometimes growth hurts. There are growing pains. And then there are times when growth is absolutely marvelous. And you still don't get to the promised land. You just say, this was cool, this was great, but we've come to an impasse. This is as far as we were going. But look at what I gained in this experience. Look at what I gained. So.
Well, if there aren't any other closing thoughts, one of the things that you have gained is a free ticket to Sunday, the Valentine's Day show. So all of you will get free tickets for the 4 o'clock show. I hope that you come and enjoy. There are going to be Richard Dickey Mason and Shad Moore, who are in and on the periphery of our Love and Stuff community. Of course, Richard Dickey Mason is our brand ambassador. They both have shorts, films that they have produced. And so we're going to be showing their films as a part of that. We'll have some music and some prizes for you to enjoy and win. So invite, the folks that are here in the room, other folks that might want to come and enjoy that. 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, which is Valentine's Day. So if you don't have plans for Valentine's Day, join us, just as our thank you to you for your time and consideration, because you really did spend hour-long time with people. You gave up your time to have these conversations. And I did push a little bit to get you guys into the conversations. Yeah, just a little bit, Bilal. I just pushed you, I didn't prod you. I did push just to have you in the conversation, but we couldn't have had this show without you. And I am just pleased that it has gone as well as it has gone. And I hope that you will continue your conversations and connections. And I hope that you will be ambassadors of sort for the next group of people who will come behind you that will engage in this process. I think you have put us on a great trajectory of showing, hey, great people can meet great people and have some great connections. And if nothing else, I think that was something that everybody can take away. So I'm just looking at the comments. Okay. Any closing thoughts before we go?
I enjoyed all y'all. It's been real, and we're going to keep it going. And I got to keep y'all close.
Let love spread like a pandemic.
Yes. Please let it spread like a pandemic. Yes.
This was necessary for many of us. Some of us were in a kind of rut. It kind of took us out of it.
Good stuff.
I enjoyed it.
Lena Brown said, I enjoyed each of you. We'll share next time. Lena, I want you to come on and get involved. Some of you that are in the comments, come on and get involved for the next cohort. We might even synthesize we're going to have to help because when you're talking, it's hard to not ask additional questions, but we're going to stick to the 36. I've been a stickler about that, but I realize in conversation, real conversation, you're going to have another question and maybe another question, probably not a whole section, but we'll have some questions that aren't on the script, right? But I think for the most part, everybody stuck to the script, and I'm most appreciative of, your commitment to really doing that. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Darren Williams, Bilal Muhammad, Christina Smith, Tasha Green, Gerald Harvey IV, and Aria Moody. Thank you all for joining us. And thank you that are watching. I hope you will click share. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you so much for coming, all of you. I hope you will click share and tag someone to continue the discussion as we watch these pairs of people, great folks in the community,